Ah, Nike. The brand that brought you Jordans, Barclays, Kobe's, and Chinese sweatshops may be in a little bit of hot water.
What?
Maybe a lot of hot water.
Ooh.
Turns out the famed sneaker company may be involved in a study with children who may one day grow up
Don't say it.
to be dudes who like to feel pretty.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. Fuck you!
I'm Josh Borganzo on this. Bad enough you had Chinese child labor,
It's true.
Kaepernick,
It's true.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Fuck off.
Now this? Really?
Sheer fucking hubris.
But it's what's next. What's up, everyone? Jazz Borganzo, what's next? Your daily dose. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Thursday. Staying in the sports realm, of course, my last video was on Shannon Sharp and his sexual nonsense, getting sued by $50 million by an OF chick that he used to date, figure that. And then, of course, he offered $10 million to shut her up because, of course, he's completely innocent. Anywho, Nike, the famed sneaker brand, the company that brought you Michael Jordan. Yes, Michael Jordan saved that company from going right in the toilet, along with Barclays, Kobe's, Steph Curry's, and sadly LeBron's, is in a little bit of hot water. Maybe a lot of hot water. Why? Because it turns out that they may have bankrolled a study for children who may one day grow up to be dudes who like to feel pretty. You would have thought that the whole Dylan Mulvaney shit would have blew up in their face, but no. They never learn. And this, coming from Outkick. Pro-women advocates slam Nike over alleged funding for puberty blocker study. It recently came to light that the biggest sports company apparel in the world, Nike, is apparently helping to fund a study for the use of puberty blockers in children and how it affects their athletic performance. The short version of the study purpose is simple. How much medication, hormones, surgery needs to be given to young boys to allow them to fairly compete in girls and women's sports. To this point, Nike has not confirmed its financial investment in the study, nor have they denied it either. Of course, most rational thinking people already know the answer. This study seeks to find there is no amount of pharmaceutical or medical intervention that should allow boys to compete in girls and women's sports. In addition, given these life-altering, gender-affirming treatments to children should be considered child abuse. Absolutely. So why is Nike funding such a study? They're a sports apparel company that primarily produces sneakers. What do they look at the gain for this research? Do they want more children receiving treatments? Unfortunately, this company has thus so far kept its mouth shut. Riley Gaines, host of the Outkick podcast Gaines for Girls and one of the most influential pro-woman voices in the country, put the company on full blast. This is utterly insidious that Nike would bankroll a long-term study on prepubescent athletes, effectively turning children into political guinea pigs, to advance an irreversible, harmful ideology that preys on the most vulnerable, Gaines said. Did Bud Light, Dylan Mulvaney fiasco teach Nike nothing? Of course not. Corporations should stick to making products, not picking culture war sides. But with Nike, a company that has proudly shown their disdain for America, women, and now apparently children, I won't hold my breath. Wow. Boom! Bud Light partnered with Dylan Mulvaney in 23 and suffered a massive blowback as a result. Interestingly, for those who don't remember, take a trip on the way back. Bud Light used to be the #1 light-selling beer in the company. They dropped to 15th after Dylan Mulvaney fiasco. Of course, Nike also partnered with Mulvaney to promote his, sports bras on a dude. Okay. Nike didn't suffer quite as much negative attention, though Martina Navratilova took the extra time to say, I guess Nike couldn't find a female athlete to sell sports bras. Ouch. Partnering with an adult who chooses to do what Mulvaney does is very different from a study on prepubescent children. Jen Say, founder of XX and XY Athletics, which has become a major brand in women's sports and also a major voice in the fight protecting women, children, women's sports and spaces, condemned Nike for apparently funding the medical experiments on children. Why on earth would a sneaker brand be in the business of doing medical experiments on adolescent boys? On anyone, Say told Outkick. Furthermore, girls aren't impaired boys. Girls are impaired boys. The idea that we just hamper boys enough so they can compete with girls without standing out too much to be passable as girls is demeaning and degrading to girls. Nike needs to get back to business, focus on the products, and leave little boys alone. It's beyond time for Nike to explain itself. Is the company funding the research? If so, why? If not, why are the researchers claiming that it is? We're waiting, Nike. We're waiting. The ball is in your court. You would have thought that after the Chinese child labor, the sweatshops, the sweat camps, you know, children making, Nike shoes for 5 cents a day and then charging Americans $150, $200 for a damn pair of shoes, you would have thought that they would have learned something. The Colin Kaepernick fiasco, getting on his knees, making a fool out of himself, making a complete ass out of himself, and of course, everybody falling in line and getting on their knees, and grabbing ankles because of what Kaepernick did. You would have thought they would have learned from that. Dylan Mulvaney, the the mentally ill dude, you actually gave him sports bras to wear and to be a rep. You would have thought they would have learned, but no, they haven't. So now they've upped the ante. They said, hold my beer. So now they're funding, allegedly, let me make that, funding research for little boys who are getting hit with hormones and surgeries to see how does this affect boys and girls sports. Dude, you guys are in for a world of fucking hurt because this shit is beyond repair, in my opinion. This company should be boycotted. Absolutely. Because this is true. Like I said, I'm saying allegedly. If it turns out that it didn't, then why allow it to go on as long as it has been already? Fucking joke. Excuse my language. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Borganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you next time. Peace.